want to salute you all and say how much I am honored to be amongst you at this important summit. I want to start by thanking our organizer, His Excellency Hussein al-Mahmoudi, who has done such a marvelous job in getting us all together and giving me this opportunity to be in this august group of great leaders in education and innovation. Thank you, Your Excellency Hussein al-Mahmoudi. I want to also thank my good friend, Minister of Education of UAE, His Excellency Hussein al-Hammadi. I enjoyed being with you before in such important events, and I've always admired your achievements in developing and in the process of education and innovation in this country and in the region. But the most important thing to me is that we are all here gathered under the high patronage of a great knowledge leader, Sheikh Sultan bin Muhammad al-Qasimi. Sheikh Sultan is a doctor, and I love to call him doctor, because he is not just a leader, a statesman, in many things. On top of that, I have witnessed the process of his self-education and his search for becoming a leader of knowledge. And particularly, I had the honor of visiting with him as many years back when he was working for his PhD in the United Kingdom. His Highness is a great model for all our leaders. We are proud to be under your patronage, and I'm proud to be your friend. Thank you very much for patronizing this conference. I am honored to address you at this opening. Since my early days, when I started getting interested in learning about information technology, the buzzword was technology transfer. And I wrote a lot of articles and spoke at a lot of conferences about how it is important to have this movement of technology transfer into any country as the foundation for national innovation. Having served on the board of the Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, of the United Nations, as an expert on the team on the Council of Experts, it was very important to note that you start by transferring technology, and then based on the imported technology, you start to innovate and come up with national technology. That was, in my case, many decades ago, something like 40 years ago. And it was very important, in a very important way, and approach to having national innovation. We moved then from technology transfer to the concept of innovation, and from the concept of research and development to invention. And it became the objective of everything in this process of technology development and technology promotion. Now, I am so grateful to Your Excellency Minister al-Hammadi. I'm so grateful that you brought up the question of technology transfer again. Because in this world of knowledge revolution, when it's all about ICT innovation, and including such important subjects like artificial intelligence, which will revolutionize the process of technology and innovation, it's good to remind ourselves that we have a lot to learn in the field of ICT technological developments, the same concept like the previous concepts of technology transfer in the Industrial Revolution. So this is very timely. And to hold this conference under the most gracious and honorable high patronage, Sheikh Sultan bin Muhammad Al-Qasimi, whom I call the Amir Al-Ilm, in addition to all his political and national and international leaderships, he is an Amir, which means he is the Prince of Knowledge. Dr. Al-Qasimi is a learned person as well as an accomplished statesman. And I have had the honor of being on his side and watching his leadership for so many years. Now, having said this, I'm also very grateful to be here in the presence, in this virtual presence, with two very good friends. His Excellency Muhyiddin Tawq. Muhyiddin Tawq is our very able Minister of Higher Education in Jordan, and our distinguished scientist, inventor, Farouk Al-Baz. Those are great figures in the Arab world of whom we are very proud, and of whom I'm very proud to be a friend. I mentioned the subject of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence should be the buzzword connected to technology transfer as well. Now, we have a great enabler. Artificial intelligence is not a subject, it's not a product, it's not a service, it's not something. It's an enabler for everything. It's an enabler for innovation, for technology development, and for many other purposes. Now, I want to emphasize, although we're talking about innovation, that it's all about education. And that is why I want to take this opportunity to call very loud that we need to change our education objectives. When I graduated, I did so in order to get a certificate that can help me look for a job, which was not easy. I spent 6 months trying to get a job with a distinguished, with a certificate, university degree with honor and distinction, but it wasn't easy. Now, this should be over. We should be looking at education from the concept of moving from teaching to learning. And the duty and the responsibility of the professor or teacher should be to help the student find out his talent and find out how he can develop into becoming an inventor. Therefore, education should be learning and not teaching, learning for the objective of innovation. Schools and universities should have one main objective: how to become an innovator. We want to graduate innovators and not job seekers. I served on the board also of the World Trade Organization and on the board of the World Intellectual Property Organization, and I always noted with great concern the fact that we do not agree that the basis for anything has to be the process of education. And therefore, in this summit, with such with a great and august group of leaders, we need to start a revolution for changing education and educational systems. Now, we're talking about smart cities. We're talking about artificial intelligence aided education. And we're talking about a new world in which humans and things will become one community. And therefore, our educational environment and educational objectives should be changed towards that objective. I don't want to lecture on things that I know you know more than me. But in this world where we are moving from, unfortunately, globalization to nationalization, every country is saying, my country first. And in this world where we have a great dilemma in the question of education under an epidemic, and at a moment where we are all concerned about predicting the future, I served in my capacities at the UN as the chairman of the United Nations Alliance for ICT for Development. We need an alliance for ICT for humanity, for human services, for human objectives. Until now, the objective has always been can I become richer, how can I become more powerful, and how I become everything, myself, my company, my country. Let me close by making some basic recommendations. I would like to recommend that I will make concrete 5 recommendations to close my statement. I would like ministries of education to become ministries of education for innovation. Let's change the name. The name means a lot. We don't want graduates who are the result of a memorizing process and to test them on how they and what they memorized. Number 2, we need innovation and a lot of innovation in the field of fighting pandemics and clean environment to protect against environmental disasters. The world is facing in less than 10 years a global crisis more serious than Corona. So it doesn't end with inventing a vaccine for Corona. We need much more. We need our research to be directed for innovation in the field of protecting human lives through technology and innovation. Number 3, we need to develop, particularly for the developing countries, mechanisms and vehicles for assisting creators, inventors, innovators, how to commercialize their products. Every country needs a Silicon Valley-like place where you can come with an invention and you can find either a purchaser of your invention or a partner or a licensee or a licensor or any other form of helping in the process of making the product, the invention, a product. And we need to move in our educational process on to the, and I'm emphasizing education because education is the basis of technology transfer and of technology development. We need to go and start thinking about moving from the current industrial revolution, the knowledge revolution, to the wisdom revolution. In closing, I would like to say my last comment is, in this world, we have to realize that the end of any civilization is not a result of failure of its power only, but it's about the moral objectives of this revolution, of this civilization. We are now at a critical movement that the current civilization of the world is facing the challenges and the questions. Is it for us, or for me, or for the world? We need to address this issue with great wisdom so that civilization, our civilization, will become with a moral component, moral content, and not purely pragmatic. I don't like the word pragmatic. I like to move from pragmatic to human objectives. The civilization should be directed for human objectives, interests, and for the safety and prosperity of every human being on this earth. Thank you for inviting me. I am honored to be with you, and I'm grateful to you for this opportunity that I was given. Thank you.